This week, I joined Democratic attorneys general from across the country in fighting to stop the chaos, confusion, and conflict caused by the president and his administration. Their policies are making life more difficult and more expensive for everyday New Yorkers. From veterans who need health care, to students in underserved schools who need quality teachers, to federal employees who need to put food on the table. This administration cannot ignore the law. In each and every case, we have won court orders stopping the dismantling of our government. And as your Attorney General, I will continue to enforce the law and protect our state. This week, we won another victory in our case against the Trump administration for trying to cut funds for critical medical research. We stopped the administration from cutting billions of dollars for the National Institute of Health that supports important research into cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease, and more, at research institutions including the University at Albany, Stony Brook, and the University at Buffalo. We also stopped the Trump administration's illegal funding freeze that threatened Medicaid, law enforcement, child care, and other essential programs. Congress, not the president, holds the power of the purse. And Donald Trump cannot single-handedly cut off funding for seniors, veterans, children, and all New Yorkers. The Trump administration has also cut crucial programs that help train and hire teachers at under-resourced schools and rural communities. These programs ensure that every kid, no matter where they live, has access to a quality education. We sued the Department of Education to restore these programs that support our educators and our students. To protect federal workers, I filed another lawsuit with my fellow attorneys general against the administration for illegally firing thousands of probationary federal employees. Rest assured, we will continue to fight every day to uphold the law, protect our communities, and ensure New Yorkers get the support they need.
Hi everyone, and welcome to OneMicNite. It's Marcos Luis here. Today we are OneMicNite talking. We're going to be talking politics, so if you're not here for politics, you probably want to exit now. But if you are here to talk about politics with us, hop on in. Make sure you like the episode and share the episode. And we also want to know your opinions, so make sure you continue to inbox me with topics and your opinions on what's going on in the world. Now, right now, President Trump has signed 74 executive orders, 20 memorandums, and 7 proclamations within his first 30 days, according to Scripps News tally. Now, these actions cover a range of topics, some of which have prompted considerable debate and controversy. We're going to get into that. Today, the OneMicNite Talk co-host is none other than award-winning licensed clinical psychotherapist and your favorite and my favorite co-host, Shane Mark Tull. Welcome on in. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Where in the world are you today? That's the question.
I'm in Georgetown, Diane. Yes.
He's always on the move. He's always on the move.
Well, but I always have time for you. Always got time for you.
And I'm really happy you can be with us. So what I was saying in the beginning, we are 30 days in this presidential presidential term. And President Trump has already signed 74 executive orders and 20 memorandums, 7 proclamations, some of which include pardoning individuals from the January 6th riots, freezing foreign aid payments, instating offshore drilling, attempting to eliminate birthright citizenships. Those are just a few to name. What are your thoughts on those?
It feels like it's 6 months instead of 30 days.
For sure.
It's just been a whirlwind of chaos. You know, I think it's clear to say that he is the chaos president, and he comes with that. And I think all of us can agree that government spending could be monitored, could be trimmed, but you take a scalpel to it, not a sledgehammer. Mm-hmm. And I don't think a lot of Americans knows a lot about foreign aid.
Mm,
So
yes.
when he stops U.S. aid, there are projects in 120 something countries that America does that helps us with our soft power. There are research going on. There are feeding poor people. There are U.S. aid has a contract with a lot of farmers in America that they buy food from. So I when you don't know what you're doing, you add to the chaos because there are all of these farmland food stock up with nowhere to go because he stopped the program.
Absolutely.
The Justice Department and all these other places, the same thing.
With the abrupt stop of all these things with executive orders, and you just stop things in the track. You have things in motion, like you said, the U.S. aid was already in motion. We're taking care of 5 million people. I just watched
Mhm,
a little special today. They were highlighting two of the companies that actually send the food to the people in the foreign lands,
mhm,
and how they were made, what it consists of, and each packet in their warehouse. They said, think of it like this: each packet in our warehouse, each box that's on the shelf here,
mhm.
stopped in motion, represents one life. Like one of
Correct.
those boxes represented every person's life. Because within 2 weeks, they can take a child who's malnutrition and get him back to a sustainable place.
Mhm,
These things, the importance of these, and I don't think we as Americans or we as people think on a daily basis how much and who we're affecting. We become a country not only of democracy, or looking for democracy for everyone, but also a country of empathy, a country
mhm.
who is based on morals. Can we help? Do we help the rest of the world? So that's the problem we're running into.
Yeah, and that's what we've been doing. So to so abruptly stop these things, you're literally interrupting lives of a mass amount of people that need HIV medication. You stop that. Chances are by the time the litigation comes through and if it's re-implemented, it's probably 3 months down the road where attempting to give those medications again, the people that are getting those medications may become immune to them. So you have to find a new slew of medications that would work for them. And just think about HIV becoming an epidemic all over again across the world. So
Across the
these are
world.
the things that we miss that they're probably not cognizant of when you make these broad decisions without investigating and proper research and assessment, and then you make the cuts. But to do stuff like this, it is really inhumane. And someone MSNBC said, this is not America. This is not who we are. My response to that, it is, because we've elected this person twice. So what does that say about our character
Absolutely.
and our morals? So I think we need to face it. Really, this is who we are. So to counter that, I don't know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. I want to give you some of the numbers here too of the approval rating. So last Tuesday, um, the president gave a speech to Congress, and according to ABC News Project 538, they took a poll. They said his approval rating went from 47, it stays steady, 47% to 47, excuse me, 47.8% to 47.6% on Tuesday after the speech. So that's pretty much the same. It didn't really change.
Yeah.
Um, the approval of Congress, and we've talked about this before, the Americans are
Mhm.
not happy with the job that our Congress is doing. It is at a 27.6% approval rating. We're not happy with what Congress is doing. They're supposed to be the voice representing the people, and we're not happy. The people are not
And
happy with us.
some polls have them at 21%, which
21%.
which speaks volumes.
Hmm.
So I really believe that it's going to take people outside of the Washington Beltway and maybe not a politician, but it's going to have to be this grassroots movement,
Hmm.
like the Tea Party in 2010, that really started and push for change. So I really think while the Democrats fumble to find their footing and come back with a cohesive, coherent message, I really think it's going to take the same MAGA people that put Trump there when they begin to realize, oh, we're losing veterans. We're losing veterans' benefits. We're losing their health care. They're losing their jobs. My neighbor had just got laid off because they the concept of bureaucracy and federal workers, we think they're all in Washington. No, they're all over the country.
Right.
So when they're, and we're now beginning to see a groundswell of Republican MAGA voters holding their legislators accountable. Like, we did not vote for this. We voted
Absolutely.
for Trump. We didn't vote for Musk. We didn't vote for you to take a wrecking ball to the whole institution,
Hmm. Hmm.
government. So I really think, give them a month or two, this is going to swing and this is going to backfire in Trump because those are the people that are going to be really being affected. He ran on the populace of on day one, prices are going to go down. It's day 30 something, prices have continued to go on up, and he haven't done anything about those prices. This all the chaos he created is really around cultural war and things that are dividing us. If the Democrat could get a message, say, listen, these are the things that can unite us: economy, safety, border. These are the things we can work together on and make America presentable and cohesive, not so allowing an immigrant to take a wrecking ball and just completely mess us up. Because I think somebody said, like during the election campaign, Trump was saying, oh, they're taking black jobs. Yes, he has a white immigrant taking black jobs.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. One of the biggest moves of the Trump administration this far is a reduction of the federal workforce. 77,000 federal workers have agreed to a deferred resignation program, while many of the probationary workers, those who have not yet gained full civil service protection, are being let go from their federal agencies. Now, I just read also here that Doge canceled 18 leases for federal offices here in New York City. They canceled government contracts. They've laid out thousands of workers, and in total canceled 700 leases for federal government
Mhm.
office spaces.
Do they have any idea what those leases for, what those offices for, the services they provide? None.
None at all. And that's the problem with this type of firing. You're just going through firing, you don't know exactly what people are doing. You're trying to do it for bureaucracy and trying to, save the budget, but you're cutting people out of jobs. You're not allowing people, you're not doing it in a manner that will give people time to prepare to move on to the next job. It's just you're fired.
And remember, those 75,000 people that took that buyout, there's no money for that buyout. So where are you getting that money from?
Where are you getting the
Because
money?
that money has to be approved by Congress. So
Exactly.
there's really no money for those people
Can
that
he
you
do this?
cut
This is
out.
the question we're fighting. This is the question we're asking. Does he have the authority to do this?
He does
No,
not.
he does not.
He
But
does
why is
not.
this happening? Why does it continue to happen? How are they
Because
allowed? How is he allowed to do this?
because
How are they?
Congress is allowing him because the Republicans have the majority. And under normal circumstances, even a Republican Congress with a Republican president would be like, you can't do this because Congress holds the purse strings, and these are money that are already allotted. You cannot stop it. It's unconstitutional. You can't do it. But Trump is going to push every legal avenue to get what he wants. And hopefully, when it gets to the Supreme Court, because they've already indicated that he has as much power as a king. He wants all these cases to go to the Supreme Court, where they would probably be solidified that yes, he can do what he wants. But some folks in the Supreme Court are pushing back, like, nope, this can't happen. So maybe there's some hope here.
Maybe there's hope because that's what it is. If you're in office, if you are a Supreme Court judge, if you are in Congress, you have to abide by what the law is, what the Constitution is. You can't just allow someone who's in charge, like the president, to just say, this is what's going to happen now. However, as we've said, as the Project 2025 said, he's implementing people in places who will execute his plan. And these people will do it willingly. You see what's happening
And
in media right now. The fact that we're even talking about this now, who knows what's going to happen a month from now? They may
correct.
take me off the airway. They may take all these people on the platforms. Now people are going, the source of media, let me back up. People are being fired from the major stations like
Yeah.
MSNBC, CNN.
Yes.
They're being fired for speaking out against his presidency.
And the scary part, the media houses are capitulating to him and firing people and making changes like the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos' papers. This is crazy.
It is absolutely crazy.
We are in the middle of a political coup by the executive branch.
Absolutely.
And we should have a banner running on every TV show. We're in the middle of political coup because this is what it is. And until the MAGA folks raise up and realize that their lives are being threatened and they're not getting anything out of this deal, I don't think anything's going to happen. Let's hope it's not too late.
Exactly. And we see how what's going on with the tariffs too, inflation's going up and people are talking about the price of eggs, but it's not just about eggs. It's about a lot more. It's about, this man asserting his authority to do whatever he wants. He's trying to acquire more land. He's trying to change the name of, the Gulf of Mexico,
The Gulf of Mexico.
reassume possession of the Panama Canal,
Correct.
retaliatory tariffs.
Make Canada the 51st state, pissed off Mexico. So it's like you're in the middle and you're pissing off your neighbors above you and the one below you.
Right.
We cannot afford to do that.
We can't. And let alone what happened, with Zelensky, the president of Ukraine,
Yes.
and by pulling out the funds, you see what happens. Russia then
And
encroaches
funds
on Ukraine.
Once again, how are you making a deal and you're giving Putin everything?
Everything.
The thing that bothers me, why Americans are not seeing this as a moment to be extremely alarmed, because you're giving Putin everything. Putin's going to move through Ukraine, and then he's going to go into other states, and he's going to walk over Europe. And if Trump is still there, he's going to allow him to do it.
Absolutely is. While
And
we acquire other lands as well.
Correct. Greenland.
Yeah, exactly. What is that?
We are in chaos. Let's take care of us. Why try to go off to other places and then you want to take over Gaza and make it beautiful and build beachfront properties, and you just give Hamas a new tool, a new PR voice to say, oh, the West is coming after us, so we need to go after them. Everything he's doing is making America less safe. All those people in the government that he's firing, you need to keep people that have institutional knowledge.
Absolutely.
That can help. So you fire all of those people. You're firing people from the CIA, the FBI, that have access to very good information that out of wrath and anger, they can share this with our enemies. What are you doing?
Experience, plain and simple, experience and knowledge they have, right? The other big concern is the tariffs. Now, okay, so I'm going to say and play kind of devil's advocate because I see what his vision is. The biggest problem that I have is the way he implements it. So the vision for America by making it great would be to keep the money in the economy. So by putting the tariffs on, you're then stopping the flow of the money outward and keeping it within the United States. I'm not sure if it's a great idea, but I see what his vision is, and as we see, some of these big companies are now coming to America and making their plants here, like Apple, Honda. So these people, why not? Why ship the money over there where they make it over there? And if these people are willing to bring these plants here, perfect. We do win. So you have to kind of know where to hold them and know where to fold them and know where to let them go,
Right, but we also have to
right?
realize that the countries that we're imposing tariffs on, they're going to impose those tariffs on us, and all that falls back on is people like you and I. A $50,000 pickup that was $50,000 on Monday. Yesterday it was 70,000. Who you think is going to pick up that cause?
Right. And
Who
so and
we?
so
Yeah,
the specific part of it all is are we ready and capable to fill in the gaps of where we're no longer using these companies, whether it's lumber or, what else do we get from Canada? I don't
we
know,
need lumber. We
milk,
How about electricity? How about energy?
exactly, energy.
Ontario have our energy.
Exactly. Are we ready at this moment to produce all that stuff? Are we
Thank
going to
you.
fill in the gaps? And that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand what he's doing, but with an abrupt end and placing tariffs, what are we going to do? That means nothing's going to travel back and forth for a while.
I don't, I don't think he's serious with the tariffs. Because every time he keeps putting it off for another 30 days just to maintain the chaos.
Right. That that part, yeah, you're right. I agree. But what concerns me most is with the US aid going to other countries, because to me, the lives are more important. You know,
Correct.
um, like the special that I watched today, the ships were in motion, then they lost the
Yeah.
grant. They pulled the grant. So the
Yeah.
ships, what's the ship going to do? You can't go there, you can't come back. And then he gives it again,
Yeah.
you know? And so you got warehouses full of food. So what is the food doing? Will the food spoil?
Property
What's the shelf
bill.
life of this stuff?
Correct.
So you
And
got a
these are
lot
things
of
that are already paid for.
already paid
They're
for,
paid for.
money
Let
allotted.
it go.
Absolutely.
Let it
Absolutely.
go. But this is about decency. Republicans could stand up and say, this is wrong. We are Congress. We hold the purse strings. This is money that is already allotted, signed off into law. It should be going out the door. You cannot stop it.
And so why aren't they doing it? That's the problem. Why aren't
Because
these people?
they're afraid of it. They know if they go up against him, they're going to be primary. Their family's going to be threatened. Look at Trusted Coney Barrett. She ruled against them
Mhm.
yesterday. I think it's Thursday, and they already start attacking her. They start talking about judges. Now, attacks on judges have escalated. All the
Wow.
judges that are involved in these cases are being attacked. So if you're just a congressman in your district, you're not trying to mess with Trump. But now they're caught that they may be afraid of Trump, but they have to be more afraid of their constituents
Right.
who
As they
put them
should.
there.
And I
Yeah.
ask this question again, have we turned into a country where the majority of the people are going along with this? Have we turned into that country?
Unfortunately,
Right.
because we should have major protests in the streets of people coming out and saying democracy is an American value that we can all get behind. This is not democracy.
This is not
We can
democracy.
have
Yeah.
different political opinions. And I understand where the MAGA folks are coming from, and I know where I'm standing. But on issues like this, we can come together like this is not American to be sending home veterans. This is not American to be sending home a whole workforce. What do you think is going to happen? Inflation.
Right.
You're sending home a whole workforce.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
They,
Have
they, they're losing their job. They can't pay their school fees. They can't pay their mortgage. Can't pay their car notes. What do you think is going to happen to these people? The private sector is not big enough to accommodate all of these people. And what's going to happen with the government services that are still needed?
Right. Have you noticed, I know that there are protests going on around the country, but have you noticed that it's not getting media coverage?
It's not getting
It's
enough
not
yet.
getting the media coverage that
Yes,
it deserves.
yes.
And I
It
think that
needs
that has
more.
to do with going in line with what he
Yes.
says. The stations are
We're
not
we're
broadcasting those
falling
things.
in they're falling in line because they don't want to be singled out. They don't want to experience the wrath of Trump. Because
Hmm.
like yesterday, he signed an executive order to go against a law firm that represented Democrats.
I believe it.
This is lunacy.
He also took money away from Columbia University for,
Yes.
the Palestinian protests,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
What was
That
it?
is
Took 40
censorship.
million or something like that. I can't
Yeah.
even, I don't even know
That
what the
that
number
is
is.
that is censorship. They
Right.
refuse to give New York the $80 million for migrants and all that stuff. So, what do you think is going to happen? The country's going to fall into a recession.
Absolutely is.
It's too drastic. It's not like pieces and pieces. You're just sending home a whole workforce of people that provide vital service. And I think this is an a moment where we realize how important government service is, because the Better Business Bureau, you're closing down. Consumer affairs, these are places that we could go for recourse. And closing down these federal offices under this DEI woke nonsense, it's also an attack at our civil rights, because the federal government was the backstop for
Yes.
us,
Right. You're right.
securing our civil rights.
Right.
Government jobs were our pathway for people of color to make it to the middle class.
Hmm.
A
Yeah.
lot of those federal jobs are gone.
Gone.
So you're
Absolutely
sending
gone.
home, you're sending home all of these folks. What are we going to do? And you have no, because they're going to go on unemployment. They're going to go back on services that are needed, and you're still trying to cut Medicaid and Medicare.
If there's unemployment, we don't even know. He may cut
If
that as
there's
well.
unemployment,
Right. He's
if
restructuring
there's
everything.
unemployment,
So we don't
yeah,
even know. Yeah. So
yeah,
we're going through, yeah, it's going to be economic hardships. We're also, if you know about stocks, I don't know if people are investing in stocks or not, but the stock market. And I'm not even sure if that's not a game that he's playing with these tariffs to drive the
yeah,
stock market down so that
yeah.
big corporations and big banks can buy in, and then the next day they're go, and then the stock market
Yeah,
goes up. And if I will tell
yes,
you though, if you look at the trend from the last time he was in office, the first 30 days, look at the graphs, everyone who's in the stock market, and look at the algorithm that's happening right now. It's exactly the same.
that's
This
saying
man knows what he's doing. He
yes.
knows what he's doing, and it's an atrocity. It's an atrocity.
You, but you are going to cripple the country's economy for personal gain.
Absolutely.
This,
Yeah.
this is really what it's about.
Right. The rich will get richer.
This is not about, okay, we're going to take care of everybody in America. This is
Hmm.
like reverse Robin Hood.
Right.
We're going to steal from the poor. We're going to take from Social Security. We're going to take from Medicaid and Medicare, so we can give a bigger tax break to the 1%.
That's it. That's exactly what's happening. And so what do we do? What's our solution? We have become the resistance. And like I said, possibly the minority in the country now who feels this way. But I feel like, as you said, the numbers will grow once it starts affecting other people.
Yes.
They will start to realize that this is not what they bargained for.
Yeah. Well, I think a good strategy is really going to be us going into MAGA territory and meeting them at the table and opening their eyes and say, listen, these are issues that are affecting both you and I. This is not about Trump. This is about our community. It's about securing our country. It's about securing democracy and keeping this country stable. And these are things we can agree on. You can agree that Trump needs to be president. That is fine.
Mhm.
But what we both can agree on, that we shouldn't destroy a whole workforce. we shouldn't be losing our jobs. Veterans should not be losing services that they're barely getting adequately. So those are we're able to make those connections and to meet them at their table and have these frank conversations.
Absolutely.
It's not going to change.
Absolutely. And I'm going to echo what you said and go one step further. There shouldn't be a man who was not elected by the people doing
Thank you.
the firing. There's
Thank
no
you.
reason why this man should be going in there
Thank you.
having the power to fire thousands of people, thousands. If you're a consultant and you're giving advice, you are still not the one who's doing the firing, sending people notes and messages via X. You know, when your financial gain is coming from government contracts that you
Thank
have,
you.
you know, and quite frankly, the people are fighting back because Tesla stock has gone down. People are boycotting Tesla,
I'm so glad they
you know?
are. The stuff he just said that blew up.
Right.
So, and people are saying, "Oh, he's the smartest man in the world." Maybe not so
Maybe not.
smart.
Right. He's the richest
Maybe
man in the
not.
world, but maybe not the
But
smartest, you know?
that don't make him smart. Because if you're smart, you will do an assessment before you start cutting.
Absolutely.
You cannot run the country the way you run Twitter.
Right.
You went in
You ha
Twitter and just send everybody home, but then you had to bring them back.
right. Absolutely.
Democracy, bureaucracy does not work like that. Because when you slash all those procedures,
And there's
how are
no
you going to
system in
find these
place.
people?
Yeah,
There's no system.
there's no system
How are
in
you going to
place.
find them? How are you going to bring them back? How are you going to reorient them? Yeah, this is chaos.
Right.
And I think this is something we all, as Americans, can come together and say, yes, this is lunacy. We need common sense governance. Even if it doesn't align with all of our political priorities, it should align with the basic American principle that we should all have free access to certain liberties and we should be protected.
Absolutely. And now I'm going to ask you a professional question. So, you know, along with that, firing all these people, going in, the FAA, planes dropping out of the sky, people are feeling a sense of fear, a sense of loss of hope. What do we do? What do we do?
We, I think we're emotionally and politically paralyzed. We're overwhelmed from November to now. There's so much has happened. And, the first thing I tell people, it is important to take a break. It's important to take a deep breath and regroup yourself and come back. But it's what is not important, what is not feasible, we cannot check out. We can be tired. We can take a break. We have to check back in because that's their strategy to flood the zone, overwhelm you. You become paralyzed and you're not reacting to
Right.
anything while they
Absolutely.
continue to do whatever they want to do.
Yep.
So by the time you wake up, it's too late. And my point is it too late already?
Right. While they're doing this, while you're looking at this, they're doing this, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
You know? Right.
Yeah. And you don't know
You
what
don't know.
this is.
Exactly. Until it's too
And by the
late.
time you wake up, it may be too late. In 6 months, we can be literally serving a king instead of participating in this democracy. Think about it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Absolutely.
It's overwhelming.
I urge people to also take a look at the Constitution, familiarize yourself with that, and
That's
know exactly the 14th Amendment in particular. Just take a look at some of those things and like really reassert our rights and know what the Constitution consists of so that
We
we
need
can fight this
we
fight.
need a civic lesson, and also we have agency. There are things we can do. You can call your local lawmakers and have town hall meetings and hold their feet to the fire and call Washington and create petitions and go and join Facebook groups that are geared to what you're about in terms of secure and supporting democracy. There are things out there. Hold groups at your local library to discuss what's going on in your community. Have a community forum where you can support each other. Because if you're anxious, chances are your neighbors are anxious.
Absolutely.
Create spaces where we can come together and be like, this is not about political party. This is about American democracy. And the
Absolutely.
only way democracy is safe is when we work together.
Work together. Unity.
So that's the message we have to put out there. Not that we're fighting against MAGA folks. It's the fact that we need to meet MAGA folks where they are and have a conversation with them, because what I think we get thrown off with, that MAGA folks are racist.
Right.
And I think that narrative needs to be changed.
Exactly.
That's not necessarily true.
That's not true. Right.
That's not necessarily true.
Some are, and that's in both parties. That's Democratic, that's
in both
Republican.
parties.
So
That's in
it
both
has nothing to
parties.
do with parties. Right.
Right. So we need to get past that and see them and they are our neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
They're the people we sit on next to on the
Right.
train and the buses and everywhere we go. And they're in all facets of our lives. So we need to reach out to them and say, listen, this is about America. This is about
Right. And
democracy.
this is what boggles my mind, is because this is the way our country was built. It was supposed to be a checks and balance system where we can all coexist together in a way once the rules were implemented. However, now we're at a place where it's imbalanced, but as I keep saying, is that the majority of the people here? So apparently, yes. So we have to figure out how we can coexist together and under what rules, and which rules are legal, which laws are legal, and which person has the authority to implement those rules, and which branch of the government has the authority to decide those. And there's a process. There has to be accountability for this process.
And we also have to be clear about that. If we do not stand up for the people that they're going after now, they're going to come for us.
Come for us
By the
next.
time they get to us, there'll be no one standing up for us. So this whole DEI stuff, you have to refute it. We
Mhm.
have to stand up to it, because this is just another way of using the N word.
Right.
Okay?
Mhm.
We gotta say this is what it is, and this is not America. Okay,
Absolutely.
the diversity is what have made this country great. That's why it's called a melting pot.
Diversity is what makes companies great. It's what make groups of
Everything.
friends great. Everything great.
The army, we have the
Absolutely.
greatest army in the world. You cannot take away that. You cannot take that away. And to say that diversity doesn't strengthen the army and strengthen cohesion and commitment, it's un-American.
Un-American. Yep.
To remove all of the stories about Black people and women and people of color in the army is to remove the American story. It's to
Right.
remove my story. I'm American.
Yes.
No one has the right to erase who I am and what I look
Absolutely.
like.
Black people have fought for this country for years. There were separate platoons for Black people,
Yes.
but they have been there in the spearheading the fights all along. And so the
Yes.
problem was when the integration of these, different troops happened. And so you have now, a female Black officer who is in charge, and white men who refuse to, fight
Yep.
alongside them
Yep.
because they don't respect her as a Black woman. So that's where part of the problem comes from as well.
Yes. So those are the things that I thought the Army was doing a great job addressing.
Mm-hmm.
And look where we are. All of that stuff. It's going to put us back so far. And one of the other things that really shocked me, that I think we should definitely talk about, is the George Floyd case. That the thought that they can even consider
yeah.
a pardon for this man is beyond me. This is what I call the bottom
Right.
of decency for America.
That's the absolute smack in the face.
Yes, and Elon Musk retweeted that thought to over 390 million people.
Right. Disgusting. I can't even.
Scary.
I can't.
Disgusting, yeah, but scary.
Right.
If we just have to be our wake-up call, this have to be our an inflection point for us, where we come together not only as just Black people,
Mhm.
but creating a coalition of humanity.
Right. Absolutely.
We can't do it ourselves.
You can't do. Yeah.
This is bigger than us.
Much
so we
bigger.
have to involve everyone else to stand up and say, this is a white supremacy dominance, and this is un-American.
Yes, it is.
We have to give everyone equal access at the table. And we could do this with love. We don't have to be fighting.
Right.
We don't have to. The ability for my equity shouldn't take away from your ability for access.
That's right. That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
And there's where we lose it, because
That's where we lose it.
If this group get enough, I'm not going to get up, so I can't allow them to get up, so let me pull them down. We're only pulling down ourselves.
Yes.
So, brother, we may have to engage other people in the community in our conversations and get this word out, because it is going to be grassroots people like us that started these conversations and push them, and it has to make traction, because I want our platform to be a forum where people can come and have discussion, but also have compassion. We're not going to lead with hate. We're going to lead with our hearts, and we're going to hold folks responsible. But we can be compassionate and still hold folks accountable.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well said. And I think we're going to leave with that. We have so much more to talk about. I think what we're going to do, we're going to start going live so people can tune in and give us their thoughts as we're speaking. Yeah. So everyone, make sure you like this episode. Look out for the live episodes coming soon. Thank you to award-winning licensed clinical psychotherapist Shane Mark Tull, author of the book, The Mental Health Pandemic. New book coming soon.
Soon, yes.
Thank you for spending some time with us here. I'm Marcos Luis. You can find the show at OneMicNite, OneMicNite. Inbox me at Marcos Luis, MarcosLuis. Thank you very much.